Well, welcome to another video. Today we are doing the subboard from the Pioneer LaserActive. We are replacing all these surface mounted capacitors, and there's about 40 of them on this tiny little board. So we're going to get started on that. I'm going to speed it up just so you can get an idea. We'll do some of the small, we'll start with the small ones because there's a lot of those. And they're mostly 10 UF. 10 microfarads. We've got a couple of bipolar ones there, 47s and some 100s, and a 1. There's a 1 here. So let's get this party underway. So we're using the method of pinch and wiggle, which then helps to loosen, or rather fatigue, the metal. So once you've got that a little bit loose, you can just, it's a sort of a sideways motion or an up and down motion as you're looking at the capacitor top. So the markings, you go up and down to the markings, but then to really get it loose, you sort of wiggle it in a circle, which then fatigues metal like nothing else. And we're nearly there. Boom, done. And there's a bit of crud underneath. I don't know whether that's glue though, or electrolyte. Could be either. But one by one, you remove them. And now we'll switch to high speed mode so you don't have to endure 3 hours of removing capacitors. Not that it takes that long, but it might as well. Here we go! Damn, and I did so well on the main board. We just had one pad lift. It came away like butter. So that's C21. So now I'll have to have a look, see if I can work out where the track goes. If we're lucky, it won't be too far away. Actually, it looks like it might just be ground, so that's good. That's good. Does look like it's ground. That's okay. That's not too bad. I hope. We'll find out. For now, back to it. Damn, another lifted pad. It does look like they are leaking though. It's not glue. And that one was C104. Po body's no effect. The trick, I believe, is you just wiggle them sideways until you hear a click. See, look at that. Comes off like a sure. Ah! Alright, this board's going to be a bit of a Frankenstein. That lifted both pads on that one. I am applying downward pressure though when I'm wiggling them, which should cause the metal to fatigue on the legs. Some of them were just never meant to stay on the board, I guess. Oh well, you know what I say, when you break it, you can just fix it more. I am still in two minds about whether to use these ordinary aluminium electrolytics or whether to step it up to a more solid state of affairs, such as our good friend tantalum or tantalum. Whoop. Alright, getting through them. And this is also another reason why I don't repair things for anyone else. And anything I sell will, of course, detail the damage done, if any. C422 away! So we've got pad lifted, pads lifted, pads lifting. Ah. And there we have it, all the capacitors removed off this board. Look at them all. One of the 47s was a bit leaky, as was the 100. So, still got these three that are attached or somewhat attached by their pads. So we'll fix those up with a bit of soldering iron heat. And then we can move on to cleaning the pads and working out where the cable, well, yeah, I guess where my Kynar wire will end up going to rejoin the snapped bits. Excellent. Not as excellent as I'd hoped, but I'll work it out. Ah, forgot to hit record, so I've just done that one there, and one of the pads was already lifted, but the other one is still on board, which is fantastic. Yeah, that's good. Now this one, what do we got? We got loose on both sides. This side's probably more important to me though. I must try not to melt that slot there, and you can't, that's way off screen. There we go. Okay, I think that pad's gonna stay. Ow, ow. Ah ha 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 ha. Stupid capacitors. Damn soldering irons are hot. Now this one is complete shambles. It's going to be the best course for that one. Sort of just hanging in the air. So that pad still goes to a trace. So I can desolder that side closest to me. Ha! There we go. Good job. Pad's not attached to the board, but as long as I remember that, shouldn't have any issues. Okay, so the next step for this board is, now that we've got all the capacitors removed, is of course to kick back and have a brewski. No, that's not what I'm doing. Clean the pads. I'm going to clean the pads. And then I'm going to get the legs out of the pads and go from there. Excellent. Let's give these pads a clean. So what we're doing here is, by cleaning the pads, they'll be nice and easy to reflow with no excess dirt getting on the soldering iron, which is probably a good thing. At the very least, it's good for the soldering iron. Now be careful of any known lifted pads at this point. these two over here. This one here. And the good thing is about being able to fix up these broken pads is that there are vias everywhere. So that should be easy enough to fix all the damage. Of course, an easier idea is not to do the damage in the first place. Of course, it might not be avoidable, but anything's better than caps leaking everywhere. And I must remind myself before the very end to make sure there are no shorts. So apparently if this thing shorts, if either of these boards short, they will take out the LaserActive, which is not very desirable. It's looking pretty good. And we're done. Next step is to tidy up those solder pads using a soldering iron. Try and get the legs out of the solder pads, off the solder pads. You don't need any weird wires going anywhere, which is fantastic. So to program this, it's easy. I was thinking, oh, I'm going to have to run wires out here to the shift legs. I even had the socket out to wire to. Nope, all good. So all you do is you grab your PIC code, which for me is on the desktop there. Double click, return, and next thing you know it's there, and then you just hit, I guess, write. And then all you have to do is wait and wait.